Split screen gaming is dead. I miss the days of gaming in the same room with my friends, spending hours upon hours gaming on old consoles. The good times and memories that I have of playing split screen co-op or finishing Ratchet Deadlocked in a single Sunday afternoon with a friend is something I'll never forget. The ability to share and play games was crazy. Taking turns was a thing of the past. Now, with this whole thing of, lack of split screen and couch co-op games in gaming these days, is a pretty big topic, but no one's really talking about it, no one's really tackling it. So I decided to tackle it. And from the research I did, and I found out some pretty crazy things. um there's pretty much a few main reasons why, and I got the same response from two or three different places and many different people saying the same thing. So if everyone's saying the same thing, it should be the biggest reason why. And I found some information about why exactly what these reasons are, and I'll read up a little bit about them for you, but I'll read them first and then I'll give my personal opinion and my personal experience with split screen or couch co-op and what it really means. Now, it reads as follows. There are three key reasons why split screen gaming is dying. Firstly, performance issues. It is much more difficult for developers to make a game that has more than 30 FPS, high resolution graphics, expansive content, and includes split screen. Adding split screen to a game can negatively impact performance because of the need to double everything. Games these days are much harder to run on split screen than they would have been on Xbox 360 or PS2. And the next line or the next paragraph of this article says, secondly, it is much more financially beneficial to developers, publishers, and console manufacturers if they don't include a feature that allows you and your friends to play with each other on the same console. By removing split screen, it means that to play together, you and your gaming partner both need to have the game on your consoles, meaning more purchases. Not all game developers are money hungry, of course, but money is definitely the biggest incentive for most of them. In fact, it could even be argued that video games should be more expensive. Yes. And lastly, here's the third reason why. Thirdly, the lack of interest. Games that release with only co-op in mind, such as A Way Out or Cuphead, don't seem to do so well on sales compared to the games that release without co-op. Being their main marketing point, it seems like couch co-op is a feature that's nice to have rather than being a necessary part of the game's focus. Well, that's all complete and utter malarkey. That's Boulder Dash. You telling me that with how as highly advanced and as highly techy, specifically with people always bragging about their latest technology, you can't have simple split screen on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. Now, from what I did the research is, Nintendo is still a very heavily co-op and couch co-op game. Like the Nintendo Switch, though it being a handheld, does it all. I mean, the Nintendo Switch is pretty much kicking the butts of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The only difference is that no one really knows much about it, and it's a very, very expensive console. It pretty much costs, like where I live, it pretty much costs as much as a brand new Xbox Series S. But it depends on bundles and stuff. But no one has really grasped the idea of the Nintendo Switch and how powerful it is. Like the Joy-Cons that you can have as one individual controller and split them up and have two Joy-Cons and play as friends on the same screen, whether it be on a TV or whatever, is crazy. But in my experience, I remember playing the first Killzone on PS2 with my friend with bots. On PS2, these are some of the first games to have bot systems, especially, Star Wars Battlefront. I remember playing it on PS2, 2 players, and it's crazy. Gaming has really changed a lot, but like, this whole thing of saying that processing power and stuff, that's complete and utter BS. How much do we have to sacrifice in order for games to just look better? Everyone's obsessed with FPS and performance and stuff. Everyone's obsessed with games playing, with games being smooth and the graphics. But it's like, how much are we going to have to sacrifice? How much fun out of gaming are we going to have to sacrifice for high FPS and performance? Because if games getting worse, If games getting worse means the performance has to be better and the storylines are bad and everything, then how can we consider gaming to be better? And everyone's bragging about how great their tech is with 10,000 Ryzen CPUs having 20,000 cores, and then Intel's core system having 30,000 cores in it, but you can't play split screen and you're worried about FPS. I don't buy that. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I remember playing tennis on Nintendo Wii for the first time. That was such an epic thing because it actually got you to move. The first time, and it was epic to use your body as a control. Your body was the controller to play games and move around. That was pretty much the consensus. So Nintendo still has a very heavy, Nintendo still has a very heavy co-op and couch play thing. I remember playing GTA San Andreas 2 players, which is something many people don't know about unless you're a hardcore GTA San Andreas fan. I remember playing it with cheats, getting 6 stars and just running from the cops and everything. And I remember there used to be co-op needs to be a part of each and every game if it fits the game and it fits the narrative. There needs to be a hardcore co-op. You can't just make one co-op game, specifically if it's the first one that you ever made and expect it to blow up and do well the first time. And then if it doesn't, you just quit. Instead of making a sequel, instead of making a trilogy. That's how you get better. How you start off a game is you make, if the first game bombs, you make a second game, a sequel that improves off of everything from the first game, whether it be drops in frame rate, whether it be texture issues. You improve on that. Then when you make a third game, you improve on everything from the second game. That's how you make a legendary game. That's how gaming is supposed to be. It's supposed to be better. But if gaming is getting less fun, how can you consider gaming to be better? I swear, people just get a hard-on for graphics and frame rate, when half of the time they probably don't even play the bloody game anyway because it's bad. They buy the game, they play it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they don't play it anymore. So what's the point of having all of that frame rate, all of that high graphics with a game you barely even play? Gaming is supposed to be about fun and having an experience. Like, I remember Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Lego. These are some of the split screen games I played. Jack X Racing, the Gran Turismo series, Split Second. I played that game with a friend. We had 2 keyboards and we played it the whole day, 3 to 5 hours just playing Split Second. Killzone 3, I remember playing it with a friend. I don't know if we finished the campaign, but yeah, I don't know if we finished the campaign, but we definitely played it. Minecraft, I don't need to say much about Minecraft. I think you can even play 4 players if I'm not mistaken. Tekken, the Tekken series, Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9 actually had a 2-player mode of where you could play against the CPU. Both of you guys could be on a tag team. I remember me and my friend were playing Cyrax and Sector. I was Sector, he was Cyrax, and he actually got an award of, I think it was Robotic Warfare or something, or Robotic Brotherhood. Some of the Need for Speed games, like Need for Speed actually used to make quite a few co-op games. No, not even co-op, but like split screen. They used to make a lot of there was split screen in the Need for Speed game, and they don't do that anymore. The WWE games, I don't need to say more. I think that at least 4, maybe 5 players. I remember the split line. The Call of Duty games, I believe that the first Call of Duties might have been co-op campaign, and that's the thing, co-op campaign. The Halo games, the Call of Duty Zombies. And it's like Crash Tag Team Racing as well. That is a big one for me. Crash Tag Team Racing was probably one of the most fun I've ever had in a split screen racing game, specifically for Crash Bandicoot. But yes, like, my final message is, how much are we going to sacrifice? And I want to leave you with this. How much are we going to have to sacrifice for gaming to be better? The hardware keeps on getting better. The hardware keeps on getting better, but gaming keeps on being on the decline. And people are saying, the reason why they stopped it is because of money, and because these game developers want to make money and stop people from doing it. But it's like, it doesn't encourage you to play the games anymore. Like, if you can't sit with your friend for 3 hours and play Call of Duty because you haven't seen your friend for a while, you're not really gonna have that feeling to play the game, as opposed to everyone having consoles and being at everyone's disposal all the time, and then just popping on and then hopping off, instead of having moments of reminiscing with your friends. But I think I've said my piece. And honestly, it's just not a good look right now. Split screen gaming and co-op campaign is a very pinnacle part of gaming, and we need it back. But this is the Chili Man signing off. I thank you so much for watching. Peace out.